talking about the war, did you ever experience a bombing raid while you were in Hythe? Or?
I had them up the road here, and I could show you two places where they were flattened, completely flattened houses. But then in the powerboat, there'd be a raid overnight, perhaps.
Would there really?
Oh yeah.
It's a regular occurrence.
Well, it happened occasionally, put it that way,
yes.
and we were often called out to get in the air raid shelters across the road.
Yeah.
Once we stayed behind, us kids, and we got ripped off a bit by the security bloke.
Yeah.
Another time was I was in Jimmy Rand's office, where I was the office boy, and I was leaning like this on the windowsill, and below my nose, just there, was an incendiary bomb.
Really?
Yeah. But they weren't explosive in the early years.
No, and you could pick them up and throw them in a bucket, couldn't you? That's the story.
But there's a detonator in there. If they hit the right way, the detonator would ignite all the magnesium.
Yeah.
The shell of the incendiary bomb was magnesium, and it was full of powder.
And it would have had a devastating effect on the boatyard, obviously, because most of the boats were made of wood, weren't they?
Definitely.
So they were quite a threat.
And yes, we heard that they'd put some out because they would always have people
on guard.
On guard.
Yeah. I understand that you've got a photograph of the apprentices. Do you want to show the camera? Hold it up and show the camera.
This is all the apprentices, including what they call premium apprentices, which had to pay. These would be the college boys, I would imagine. But I'm on the end, right where my thumb is. Down here, sat up.
So you're the one on the end there, are you?
Nearly on the end.
One of the things that I also found lying around is this. Do you know who this young man is?
Yeah, I do recognise him.
Do you want to just show it to the camera, please?
That came off of my identity card to prove that I worked there, and you had to show it at the gate.
And has it got anything written on it and printed on it?
Yes, it's got my old address in Dibden Purley, and it's got British Powerboat Company printed on it. You can just read it. Yeah.
And everybody had their own identification card during the war, did they?
Yes, they did.
We were talking about the bombing raids. Fortunately, Hythe didn't escape completely from the bombing raids.
No way. Dibden Purley caught it, and here and there, because in fact an air raid shelter they hadn't finished building got hit by a bomb.
Yeah. Well, that was lucky no one was in it, wasn't it?
Yeah. But you see, there were some big guns down at Hythe, a big gun site, aircraft gun site, and they would let rip at times when the jury was up there, and I suppose they'd have a go at the guns as well. But even apart from that, all around there were odd bombs. The whole area, and along this road here, when it was a dirt road, it was filled from end to end with what do you call it? Gas smoke screen lorries.
Right.
Do you know what they were?
No.
Well, if the wind was in the correct direction, which it usually was, our prevailing one is westerly, and there was a raid on the docks, they'd go out and they'd let the smoke screen envelop across the water and cover the ships.
Right. I've never heard that story before.
Well, they were parked bumper to bumper along here because there were, at that time, there were trees both sides of the road, and it was a complete cover for them. And I wished I'd have kept some of the logs when they cut them up, because they put their battalion in their name, cut it into in their spare time, cut their names and the date and everything. Yeah.
So we were talking about as well about the end of the British powerboat yard, and we were saying that when the contracts came to an end, when the war finished, the contracts were pretty well stopped on straight away, and that spelt the end of the boatyard. You moved on.
Yes.
And basically the boatyard, they turned their hand to different things, you were saying?
Well, before I left, they went into making prefabs. How many got turned out, I couldn't tell you, but I was involved in putting a certain amount of wiring in the sections, and there was one actual prefab, a really big one, which put up by the Hythe hospital for use of the nurses. Just after when the war finished, this was, but then Scott Payne asked for it to come out, and he must have sold it, and it went into Node's Way, around the corner. And that place, as far as I'm aware, is still there, because it was made with marine ply. Marine ply is practically indestructible.
Of course, yeah.
And it's also treated.
And it's still there.
Yeah, it's still there
today.
As I know, yeah. So
it was rather unfortunate about Hubert Scott Payne, of course, because shortly after the war he emigrated to, or during the war he emigrated to America, didn't he?
Went back. I think he came from there, didn't he?
No, he was born down in Shoreham, I believe. Yes. Have you got any idea why he's never been properly recognised? He was never ennobled during his lifetime. There was a proposal to make the Itchen Bridge named after him, but and in fact, one of the facts about the boatyard when he sold it up was that there was going to a statue of him to be constructed that never was.
Oh.
Have you any ideas why that he doesn't seem to have had the recognition that perhaps he had at the time?
No,
you got any ideas?
I've never heard of any reason why not. But of course, you see, there are other powerboats made by other companies, quite a number of companies that make them as well. Vosper's
very famously,
right.
And that was the preferred design for the Admiralty, wasn't it? They wanted the Vosper's rather than.
I see.
But his design, Hubert Scott Payne's design, went to America and was the forerunner of the PT boat, wasn't it?
That's right.
Right. You know, even in America, he was recognised. He was recognised.
Yeah.
He saw the president. He was introduced to the president.
Was he?
Yes, he was. In '39, when he first went over on a so-called secret mission, they wanted to buy his design for the PT boat. But what is fascinating another thing that I find very interesting is the fact that he hasn't received this recognition, and really it reflects the boatyard itself, which seems to have disappeared from history.
Yeah.
That
nobody. It's gone quiet, hasn't it?
Nobody seems to have recognised it anymore.
I think there was so much going on in those days, so many other things happening.